14-year-old male, consciousness unknown, not breathing, hit a tree, CPR in progress.
Starts relay center coordinates are 5259er by 11403.
Pigeon Lake just has a lot of good memories for me and my family. Grew up being out here pretty much every weekend.
It was the very first day of the year, and it just felt like it was going to be a good day because it was sunny and it was beautiful, and I didn't really expect anything of it.
Well, the day of the call, I remember looking at my partner and just saying, today is going to be busy. It was beautiful weather. We had already had numerous pre-alerts.
I was having a great day on the sleds. I hit an ice patch and jumped off the sled before it went into the trees and into the barbed wire.
I remember him laying there and he was saying, I can't breathe, and we were just thinking, you know, it's not anything bad. Like, how can it be bad? So we just get up, like, you're winded, you're fine.
All his face, his cheeks, his forehead, just the color disappeared.
His lips and his face turned blue. And I thought, I looked at Yanni and said, no, like, this isn't right. This doesn't happen when we get hurt. Like, something's wrong.
And I thought, well, I better go and check up on these kids. For some reason, something kept drawing me to go and check on the kids. So I got on the other sled and went out to the farm in the back, and that's where we saw the accident.
And I was just thinking, like God, like, it should have been me. Like, I'm like, do anything. Like, take me instead right now.
He might die here, so I sent Yanni to the road so that he wouldn't see his brother die, and I sent Lizzie to get on the sled to come and get Mom. So then I started CPR.
I could hear a snowmobile coming and my daughter screaming at the top of her lungs. Mom, you need to come. It's very, very, very bad.
We were having multiple phone calls at that time, and from the informations I obtained from Link Center about Theo's case, he was the sickest because chest compression was being done, and that's the worst that could happen to anyone sustaining trauma.
On this particular mission, it was a huge advantage probably for the individual, as we were already running, so a very quick response.
I remember getting a message from our transport physician saying that I'm diverting you from this trauma to a traumatic cardiac arrest on a teenager. I want you guys to go and give him the best shot. Anytime that you are dispatched to a pediatric patient, it tugs at your heartstrings. No one wants to see kids get hurt.
He was not breathing. And I said to my husband, I said to Lee, what are you doing? He's gone. He's gone, he's dead. And Lee said, don't say that, he's not dead. And so we had the 911 operator on, and she said, you can do this. You have to do this for your son.
Simultaneously, the 911 lady was on the phone, and she was telling me, just keep breathing. And so my wife took over the breathing and I did the chest compressions. The paramedics are almost there, and we're calling stars.
I could see my other two children crying, and I thought, I can do this, we can do this. And everything just kind of faded away. I
remember saying to myself, this kid's not gonna die with me here.
Then the helicopter came, and, you know, nobody wants to see that, but you're so grateful to see it in that moment.
When kids are involved, quite commonly, you can get kind of chills on a mission as soon as you're on approach and you see some of the scene unfold.
And I thought, they found us. They found us in the middle of a field, in the middle of nowhere. They found us, and now somebody's going to be able to help us and hopefully save our child.
Once the STARS air ambulance arrived, the flight paramedic that came out basically took control of the whole situation.
The survivability of out-of-hospital traumatic arrest is less than 10%. The entire call, we were fighting to keep him alive. He required a lot of interventions really, really quickly. Time was of the essence. You don't become blue quickly. That takes a little bit of time, so it showed us that he hadn't been breathing effectively for a significant amount of time to look the way that he did. And we knew that getting his airway secured was our absolute priority. The Stollery was the answer for him. We needed to get him there as fast as we could.
He was in a medically induced coma, and the doctor said he hasn't woken up, and that isn't good. And I thought, okay, this is bad. So I went into the room and I said, Theo, it's Mom. And he opened his eyes. And the doctor said, well, there you go. All you needed was your mom.
I think about it all the time that he's got a second chance, and said you got to do something good with your life, and you know, you got to support, and that's why he's got a fundraising campaign to raise money for STARS.
I feel really proud of the work we're doing and we have done in the past, and it really means a lot to me because it just feels like I'm giving back to someone who gave so much to me.
Every call, every mission, at the end of the day, we just want to make a difference for our patients. And knowing that Theo is this amazing kid who's just thriving is the reason why we do what we do. That is what working at STARS is all about.
They do the difficult and the scary so that people like my family can have our brother back.
I would describe STARS as absolutely essential, absolutely life-saving, absolutely life-changing for us so that we could keep our life the same and not experience a tremendous loss.
STARS are angels in the sky for us, and they saved our boy.